Quite quick time.
Well, it's always dangerous, but yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, I think you're right.
She says for hiding about 16 questions.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's planning committee. I'll start by asking for apologies for absence. We've had two which we've been told of, which are Councillor Fairweather and Councillor Raymond. Is anyone aware of any others? Councillor Holmes?
We believe Councillor Hunt also family issue.
Okay, she's done. Okay.
Yeah.
And if I see no more, can we move on, please, to declarations of interest? No. Okay. The minutes of the meeting held on the 20th of January. I go through for accuracy and matters arising. Page 1. Page 2. And page 3. You happy for me to sign those? Thank you. Right, and we'll move on to the one substantive item on the agenda, which is the Oxfam building at 2700 John Smith Drive, and Nia is presenting. Thank you.
Right, so this is an application seeking planning permission to extend and alter building 2700 John Smith Drive on the Oxford Business Park to enable research and development and office use with ancillary facilities. So the application site comprises of a 3-storey office building with associated car parking on the business park. The site's located on the western side of John Smith Drive, and the business park itself is located to the northwest of the Eastern Bypass Road and to the southeast of the Cowley District Centre. So the business park will see a significant change in the near future as neighbouring plots have achieved planning permission for development. On this image, you can see the application site in red/pink with the neighbouring plots in blue currently under construction and plots in yellow which have achieved permission. Permission has also been granted for a north to south pedestrian route called the Connector, which would run immediately along the western boundary of the application site. And this would link to a future train station on the Cowley branch line to the south of the business park. So that's running here. So this is a view of the existing building looking from the east of the site within the existing landscaped area. The entrance of the building's in the middle with a rooftop plant area recessed away from the edge of the building. This is another view from the east of the building showing the appearance of the facade closer up and the existing landscaping surrounding the vehicle parking area. This is a view from the south of the building looking west, where you can see the appearance of the existing projecting staircases. And this is another view from the south looking north, where you can see those staircases again along in the middle with an existing entrance to the site, which is behind the planting here. And this is the same view just taken further south, showing the building in the context of the existing landscaping. So this is a view at the south of the site looking west, where you can see the neighbouring plot 5200 in the background, along with existing timber enclosures to the south of the building here. This is a view of the west elevation of the building, again with a timber enclosure externally at ground floor level. And this is a view from the north of the building looking to the southwest. And it's along the western boundary behind the hedging over here where the pedestrian route, the Connector, is proposed. So this is a view of the north elevation of the building in the context of its landscaping. And this is a final view, again from the north of the building, showing a wider view of the parking and landscaping on site. So this is the existing plan, which shows the buildings located to the west of the plot with the entrance area to the east here. And access points are from the east to the north and south here and here. And there's a pedestrian entrance to the south too down here. So these are the existing floor and roof plans. So on the ground, we got the ground floor to the left, the first and second floor in the middle, with the rooftop plant area shown on the right. These are the existing elevations, with the north at the top, followed by the south underneath, followed by the east elevation, and then the west elevation at the bottom. And you can see the rooftop plant area in the centre of the roof with the projecting staircases on the north and south elevations. So this is the proposed site plan where you can see the footprint of the building is staying almost identical, with the exception being the addition of a goods lift to the north of the building next to the existing staircase, which is here. At the south of the building, an enhanced public realm is proposed with a covered canopy marking the south of the building being the main entrance down here. And on the northern and western boundaries, there are external enclosures proposed to accommodate bin and bicycle storage, as well as plant enclosures up here and along here. So these are the proposed floor plans. Ground floor on the left, first floor in the middle, and second floor on the right. At the ground floor, the north section of the building, there's life science floor space with ancillary uses proposed to the south of the building, next to the entrance, including a cafe, which is indicated in yellow, and a gym immediately left of this, indicated in pale green, with meeting rooms proposed to the right in green, and the rest of the space, including other ancillary uses such as internal plant, kitchen, washing and changing facilities, associated storage and security office. So the first and second floors are almost identical, and they provide further life science floor spaces with breakout areas in pale yellow. And these are further floor plans for the third floor on the left and the roof of the building on the right. You can see in yellow the rooftop balcony proposed to the west, with another breakout area immediately to the right, the rest of the floor space being life science floor space. And the roof is proposed to accommodate photovoltaic panels, as well as a rooftop plant enclosure in the middle. These are the proposed elevations. So you've got the north at the top, south at the top right, the west in the middle, and east at the bottom. So you can see the additional story to the building is proposed to contrast with the lower floors with the use of cladding, and the projecting staircases are proposed to be clad in the same material as the rooftop extension. The rooftop plant area is proposed in the centre of the building, and there are perforated metal screens which would hang over the entrances to the south and east here and here. This is the proposed landscape plan, where you can see the enhanced planting and landscaping to the south of the building, which would surround the new entrance area and the covered walkway. This includes an outdoor seating courtyard, recreational lawn, and additional trees and planting. And at the south of the site, the existing pedestrian access would be widened, and to the west, an additional pedestrian access is proposed to link to the connector, which is by here. So enhanced planting and additional trees are also proposed to the east of the building too. These are some details of the proposed covered colonnade and the bike store, with the elevations and plans of the close bordered timber bike store at the top, with the colonnade at the bottom. These are details of the bin and storage enclosures, which both would again be close bordered timber. Elevations and plans of the bin store on the left, with the store on the right. And these are details of the proposed generator and condenser enclosures, which would also be close bordered timber, with the elevations and plans of the generator on the left, with the condenser on the right. So these are some comparisons of existing and proposed views from the viewpoints within the city centre. On the left are existing views, and on the right are proposed views. At the top, the views from Carfax Tower, in the middle, St George's Tower, at the bottom, St Mary's Tower, and the application site is shown in red on each of these. These are some further comparisons. So again, on the existing view still on the left, with the proposed view to the right. So the top is St Michael's Tower, in the middle is the Oxford Stadium Conservation Area, and at the bottom is the Temple Cowley Conservation Area. And again, the application site is shown in red in these. So lastly, we have some 3D visuals of the proposals here, and this is another one showing the building from the southeast and how it's visioned that the site would appear. So officers consider that the proposed development would respond appropriately to the existing and emerging site context and would result in a high quality scheme whilst reusing the existing building. The sustainable led design and approach to the redevelopment of the site would include enhanced pedestrian connectivity and legibility on the site and wider business park, along with a reduction in car parking, increase in bicycle parking provision, and increased tree canopy cover. There would be no detrimental impacts arising from the scheme in relation to residential amenity, drainage, biodiversity, highway safety, health and safety, air quality, land quality, nor utilities. So subject to conditions in the Section 106 legal agreement, the development accords with the relevant policies of the Oxford Local Plan 2036 and the MPPF.
Thank you, Nia. Questions? Don't see any. Alex?
Yeah, sorry, I was just trying to check a fact, so which I have not managed to do. The first question I had was one on the cycle parking, and this was the fact I was trying to check. It's one of the neighbouring sites, but I can't remember which one it is. I was there for a meeting. They did have a tiny amount of cycle parking for people who work there, but precisely none whatsoever for anyone who was a visitor. I just wanted to understand, because I may have missed it in the report, is the cycle, given the occupier, but just because it's a good thing anyway, is the cycle parking available for visitors? And if so, where is that? Since otherwise visitors cycle around a car park trying to find it. And the other thing was just on, while I had the floor and just asking a question, I just wanted to confirm, obviously this is an existing building, this is an extension to an existing building. There is an element of car park reduction, but there's no creation of any new car parking spaces, which means it's not a planning issue in front of us today. Am I right?
Yeah, so in relation to cycle parking, so down here in this section, that's where the visitor parking will be. So that's next to the, you've got the main entrance here. So that visitor cycle parking will be close to the entrance. And then the covered stores are along here in this boundary here. Let me go on to, and then those are the elevations of the, covered stores, but visitor parking to the south. And then, indeed, there's no creation of additional vehicle parking spaces. So there's a reduction of car parking spaces proposed, and there would also be a further reduction in the future when the Cowley branch line becomes operational.
Emily?
Yes, sorry, just on that, it's 78 and 24. Does the 78 include the 24, or is it 78 reduction and then an incremental 24 once the CBL's opened?
So there's 78 currently being removed.
Understood, and then it's an additional 24. Thank
24, you.
I'm really asking this question just in case the developers happen to be here and might unhear it, because I know this is not something we can insist upon at all, but this is this will be employing quite a lot of people, and obviously having on-site childcare facilities is really helpful for anyone who's a parent or carer. Do you think this has been considered? Would there be opportunity to put that in there somewhere? I think you probably can't answer that, but I'm just in case, I don't know if you two happen to be the developers who are involved in it. If it's something we could put in as an informative, would they at least consider some options for childcare on site? Is it something we can put in as informative? I absolutely understand it could not be a condition.
We can't insist on it. There's no policy basis to insist on it. I'm sure they're either here or two gentlemen here, I presume the applicant, otherwise why do you come to committee? Oh, yeah, I'm sure the applicants are hearing what you say, and I don't think it's worth putting it on as an informative because we can't insist on that. There is a nursery nearby on the site of the business park. So there are childcare facilities nearby. So I understand the point, but I think that's for the applicant to decide if they wanted to introduce that within the development.
I seem to remember that Oxfam at one point did have an on-site nursery, so it might be that within the current building there is a space that has previously been a nursery. But I completely take your point that that would be for the new owners to do something. Can I raise something about the police secure by design? People raised issues, and and then you respond to that on page 46, saying that the details requested are dependent upon future tenants, though we can't specify it at this stage. Will that come back to officers to sign off?
Yes, so that information will be required by a condition, and an application will have to be submitted, and we will consult Thames Valley Police who wrote those comments. So they'll have the chance to review that information.
Any other questions? Doesn't look like we have, in which case we can move on to discussion.
It is a very rational increase in the size of a building, which frankly, I think we'd all agree are too small, given the density requirements we ought to be pursuing. This is very much a step in the right direction. So it's an improvement on what is already there, the reduction in the car parking, and the provision of actual visitor cycle parking, as opposed to not providing it. I've now identified quite how close that particular building is, and it's just opposite. I would like to recommend approval with the conditions as set out in the officer report. I don't think you mentioned any others in your report. No, so just as laid out in the report.
Emily?
I'm happy to second, and in the knowledge that developers are now using AI to analyse what councillors say in planning meetings, I would like to underscore the points raised by Councillor Hollingsworth that Oxford, really supports applications like this. It's decent quality, it reduces car parking. There's a new walking route that will be used by people on the site, but also by other people. This fits with all our policies. Cycle parking's over provided versus bare minimum. And we're getting rid of car parking and providing better public space and better density. So AI, take that.
Yeah, and we're also reusing a building, whereas there have been lots of examples of buildings being knocked down and rebuilt. So that is a distinct positive as well. Anna?
Yes, I was going to raise a similar point that I like the fact this is a rare example of a building that's being reused and extended. I think also the sort of done a nice job of the cladding, so it's not just adding a slightly, whatever on top. It's kind of, sort of wrapping it all up. Yeah, it looks decent. And yeah, it's nice to see a building like this being reused and extended.
Okay, so we have a proposal on the table to approve, go with the officer's recommendations and the condition. Can I see all those in favour? And that's unanimous. Okay. So I think all that is left now is to note the forthcoming applications and the next meeting. Thank you very much, everybody.